All right. My audio's messing up, but I think I figured it out. Okay, so today I watched um I watched the initial stages of today's trial. Okay. I watched the first witness. Let me enlarge my screen. Hold on. Okay, so I watched the first witness for the day, the Social Security fraud investigator or agent. And hmm, this is what I realized about it. I mean, my impressions of Lori might be completely incorrect, but it made me wonder. It made me wonder if she has a hard time being single or being widowed, because it was, to me at least, okay, from my perspective, it was kind of odd that her, have my timeline unless my timeline is incorrect. I don't think my timeline is incorrect, because Charles, I think I was calling Charles Chad last night. In any event, so Charles Vallow, he died, I think it was July. I need to grab my phone. It was either June or July of 2019. Okay, I think it was July. But in any event, and she remarried in November of 2019, unless I'm just tripping. Okay, because I was listening to this while I was at work earlier, and I believe that was the timeline. She literally got married a few months after her third husband passed, or you know he ceased to exist. That was that was odd for me. Or maybe she just enjoys being married. Some people enjoy being married. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the circumstances she finds herself in. What's up, Benji? Okay, so Benji watched a little bit as well. Yeah, I watched a bit. What did you think about? Is my timeline up? What's up, Brooklyn? Okay, so Benji also learned a lot about Lori's history. It was odd to me that she go, and I mean, it might be normal for some people. It's normal. Maybe some people just really, really enjoy being married, but it was, I don't know, it was a little odd to me that June, July of 2019, your husband, you bury your husband, and then what, a few months, not even a full 6 months, a few months down the line, you're remarried. That is, and you have minor children. I don't know. Unless, no, let me not put that on Lori. I'm not going to put that on Lori. I was going to say maybe she was messing around, but I'm not going to put that on Lori. Okay, so that was the first part. The second witness that I watched was the life insurance agent. I was going to call her an adjuster, but I think she's an agent. So I watched up until they took the lunch break. So from the life insurance adjuster. The one thing that I learned is that apparently, in order to change the beneficiary of $1 million insurance policy, you need to have it notarized. I did not know that. So yeah, I did not, I have no reason to know that. All right, let us move on. What did I make of Lori's cross of the agent? Her cross of the agent did not It wasn't. It really did not do much. But after she conferred with her attorneys, because she was struggling. Okay, she was struggling a little bit. But after she conferred with her attorney, she recovered somewhat. But she was still not on point, because the witness was pretty firm that they were relying on information that the applicant gives to. Actually, when he came up here and he was talking about Social Security, I got really pumped, because once upon a time I did Social Security SSDI work where I represent the people that needed benefits. In any event, so he was pretty firm that the administration relies on the applicant. And Lori was her question. Her question was about, um, this witness or the Social Security Administration would not know about the information she provided to an office in Hawaii. Hello, it's Social Security Administration. It's a federal it's a federal agency. Anyways, let us move on. Let us move on. I'm just trying to find the actual timestamp. I think this was their break, yeah? And when I was listening to this,
policy. And
actually, I did not even know this is what the witness looks like, because when I was listening to this at work, I'm not really looking at the screen and it's kind of tiny. So I had no idea this is the witness. All right, let's see when they reconvene. That's where we shall start off.
Detective
Hold on.
Cassandra in plan, that could become potentially an issue there. I don't know. I only put,
Let's just get into the meat and potatoes. Let's go. Yeah, but here is where Lori really messed up. Lori messed up by trying to get benefits while she remarried. Did Lori? What's going on? What were you thinking? If it just had she just gone about her business without trying to remarry, maybe things would have worked out for her. But she was trying to, again, it appears she was engaged in fraudulent activity, allegedly. Okay. All right, come on.
Okay, ma'am, I'm just gonna need to ask you a few
Yeah,
questions.
I still do not understand why Lori remarried within a few months. That is just I don't know. Uh.
So that I can open the
Like,
claim.
don't you need to take time to actually get to know, or maybe she already knew this individual. Chad, Daybell.
And then I can go over the claim procedure with you and answer any questions that you may have afterwards.
Oh, I'm missing out. And this is what I hate about insurance companies. They record, and this goes for car crashes and the like. They literally record. They record. They record. They record most of these encounters. I'm just trying to get back to the very beginning. All right. Oh, and the WNBA, the draft is still going on. I was so emotional. I'm so proud of these girls. I don't even know them. They definitely do not know I exist. I was all teary eyed, and they get to realize their dreams, which is fantastic. What's this?
All right, please be seated. The jury is present. You can continue with your direct examination.
All right.
thank you. When we took our break for lunch, we had just admitted Exhibit 215, I believe. And inside this contained the beneficiary designation form that was filled out by Mr. Vallow. Oops, wait till we
Okay.
get our Elmo up.
All right, come on, prosecutor.
Correct, this is the form that we were discussing from the February 26th beneficiary change.
yes, that's correct.
So we see that it's signed and notarized.
Correct.
And what this then shows is the primary beneficiary is now Ethel K. Woodcock.
Yes.
And then were there also contingent beneficiaries?
Yes, there were.
What are contingent beneficiaries?
Contingent beneficiaries are listed in the event the insured passes away and the primary beneficiary had predeceased
Right.
the insured, meaning passing away before the insured. Since the primary beneficiary was no longer living, it would then drop to the contingent beneficiaries to receive the death benefit.
Okay. So if Kay Woodcock had not been around when Charles passed, then it would have gone to Nicholas Charles Vallow and Zachary Chase Vallow.
That's correct.
Dang, no, there's no Lori at all.
When a primary beneficiary,
All right, and what's up, Allie? And Benji, if you don't know, maybe you've looked up Lori by yourself, but this second husband that not second, I think it's fourth husband, but as far as this case is concerned, I guess it's second. But Lori's fourth husband, this Chad Daybell that she married within a few months after Charles ceased to exist, he was also involved in the demise of Lori's children. So I just I have questions. I really have. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm not trying to there's just I don't know. I have serious question. In any event, Chad was convicted. He is somewhere in prison, in the Department of Corrections. But I'm just, was he a part of a cult prior to? I have questions.
or contingent.
And I guess maybe I could go dig up his stuff, but I usually steer clear of cases where children are victims. So I'm gonna let it go.
Beneficiary is removed from someone's life insurance policy, does Banner Life Insurance call that person up and let them know, hey, letting you know you're not the primary beneficiary
No.
anymore?
No,
Why not?
they're not the policy owner.
What
so
do
they
you
would
want
not
them
be
to
entitled
be
that
informed?
information.
So again, the policy owner is the person who can do whatever they want with the policy.
Correct.
Okay.
On July 15th of 2019, did Lori Ann Vallow call Banner Life Insurance to make a death claim?
Yes.
And
She did not
was
know.
that call recorded?
Yes, it was.
And is that the audio that you listened to before we took our break for lunch?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor.
I don't
finally
remember
published
that.
this? And again, that's just something that's the normal course of business that Banner Life records all of those people.
All of our calls are recorded, yes.
Okay. All right, come on, folks. I'm pressed for time.
Claims Department, this is Robin. May I have the policy number? Sure.
No, they don't want us to know the policy number.
Claim? Yes. Okay, one moment, please. May I have the name of the insured? L. Charles Vallow.
Okay, let's skip forward a little
This
bit.
is Lori Vallow.
All right.
And your relationship to the
What was the date? I should have taken the date down. Yeah, I should have
Sorry?
taken the date down, but I'm not gonna go back.
Okay, one moment.
Yeah, the only reason I'm interested in the date is because I wanted to figure out if this is after she remarried or prior to her remarrying. Okay, so
Okay, ma'am, I'm
Benji.
just going to need to ask you a few questions.
Okay, hold on.
so that
Let's
I
see.
can-
Benji saying that. Okay, so you watch an interview today of her on NBC, and you got a better sense of her personality. It's probably the same interview that the algorithm has been pushing down my throat. I did not get a chance to watch it, but let me see. We can do that. I can watch it live here on I wanted to say Sunday, but that's a little tricky. Let me think about it. So, what is your assessment of Lori's personality?
And
What
open
do you
the
think?
claim, and then I can go over the claim procedure with you and answer any questions that you may have afterwards. That would be great. Okay. First of all, may I have your daytime phone number, please? Sure. It's
Oh, they don't want us to know her phone number. All right.
And what was the date of Mr. Vallow's passing? July 11th.
Oh, that's what I thought. July. I was
And
confused.
what
Was
was
it
the
June,
cause of
July?
his passing?
Uh oh.
Um,
Uh
well, he was shot.
Lori, how are you going to tell this insurance agent that he was shot and during your trial, you're pretty much trying to debunk that he was shot? What's going on, Lori?
Okay. So I don't know how I want to put that.
Oh, yeah. Here's the one thing that I have to say about the first witness during Lori's cross examination. She asked a question along the lines of whether she had the forms that Lori filled out when she applied for survivor benefits or kids benefits or whatever it was. There were two types of benefits. In the line of questioning was off. Okay. And during that process, I was like, Lori, don't you have the forms? Because the manner in which she was cross-examining, it appeared as if she was trying to prove, not even prove, she was trying to relay information as if what the witness was recounting was incorrect and that she had actually applied for different benefits, or she had not applied for the benefits that this witness was testifying to. And I don't know what Lori's doing, but Lori's not, she's not a real lawyer. Okay. She's not a real lawyer. Um, she did not, I don't know. The cross was a little shaky, but we're gonna fast forward to cross
Okay.
examination
All
here
right.
because I don't have a lot of
And I
time.
hate to ask, but is it?
Yeah,
You
I
can
don't-
just say yes or no. Is it? Was it a homicide?
Uh-oh.
No, it was
Oh.
an accident.
An accident.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. And what state did he pass away in?
Arizona.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, just bear with me for one moment. I just need to pull up a few other things.
Okay.
Okay. Are you aware of who the primary beneficiary of the policy is?
Uh-oh.
It's me.
Uh-oh. Bless you.
Okay.
I'm
And may I
sorry.
have your, I'm sorry, one moment. My computer just went away for a
She
second.
found
Okay.
some stuff.
And may I have your current mailing address?
Sure. It's 55.
Yeah. We're getting into some stuff here. All right, come on now. Mm. I've been listening to Kids Bop all weekend, you guys.
5249.
Okay, ma'am. That is all the information I need to open the claim. What we will do now is review the policy and the file.
Dang, she is so professional. I expected her to say that you are not the beneficiary. So she just gathered information, got an address and everything, and I guess she has enough information to investigate.
To confirm the beneficiary information and determine the claim requirements that we will need to settle this particular
Okay,
claim.
Brooklyn says.
Once we have completed our review, we will
Brooklyn
prepare
said.
a claim
Ooh.
packet.
Brooklyn says, "Yeah, I don't know what happened with this case past few days, but this case just went viral." What do you mean it went viral? I think Lori has always been a viral moment. Don't do her like that. Okay, Brooklyn says, I don't think insurance companies settle without a proper A death certificate, that's not the aspect that I deal with car crashes, okay? And even when it comes to car crashes, oftentimes, not even oftentimes, always you need the actual policy and a declaration page. So they probably do need a death certificate. And then Benji says it's called Lori Daybell Behind Bars interview. I could tell that she really enjoys the attention, and I get a sense that deep down she doesn't feel bad about anything she has done at all. Okay, so I'm gonna look that up in a little bit, but I've been wondering today. I should have written this down. I forget which aspects of this case I was really thinking about, but it's in relation to what we watched last night. And I think Lori's actually insane. I'm sorry, but I think Lori might actually be a little cuckoo. She I don't think there's a possibility that she's not mentally sound. I'll put it that way.
To send to the named beneficiary once that has been confirmed. And the
Yeah,
claim
she's so
packet can either
professional.
be mailed or emailed or faxed. How would you like to receive a correspondence?
That's crazy. She is, shout out to her. She is so professional.
Email would be great.
Okay, and what is your email address?
She's
It's
getting all the
Lori,
info.
Lori,
And don't give us everything now. Shout out to her. Okay.
Okay. All right. So you should receive an email from our office within the next 3 to 5 business days or sooner. It will have the instructions listed. Once you receive the information, if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to give our office a call.
And this is the first time, random, but this is the first time I've not been able to get my thought attires from Shein for my man because the prices are outrageous. I'm like, I understand it's made in China or whatever, but I'm not giving them $24 for a skimpy clothes. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's like $5, and that's even pushing it. Things are
And then we
crazy.
can go from there. Okay. Is there anything I can help you with at this time?
that's it, I think.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss. You take care of yourself.
Dang,
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
she is so professional. I see why she's kept her job.
All right, so we hear in Exhibit 215,
Okay.
that's yourself speaking with Ms. Vallow.
Yes,
Um, And we hear her, you ask her if she knew who the primary beneficiary was, correct?
yes,
Okay.
And who did she advise was the primary beneficiary?
herself.
We also hear
And I've
you,
said this before. I do not want any living human being to take out life insurance on my life. Nope.
ask about
No, no,
sort of
no,
the
no,
cause of
no.
death for Charles Vallow, correct?
Yes,
And you asked when there was a pause if it
I
could
thought she's claiming self-defense though. So I don't know.
be, well, after she told you he was shot, right?
yes,
Um, Did you need to know sort of, was it a suicide? Was it a homicide? Was it a,
correct, yes,
and so did you follow up by asking her if it was a homicide?
yes,
And she
We heard
advised you it
that.
was an accident.
correct.
Um,
And you're leading, by the
You got
way.
a phone number from her, the 808-755-5452 number,
Yes,
and her email address, the Lori for Style at iCloud account.
Girl, so listen, if that information is redacted in the recording, why do you see the need to put it on the record?
And then you had verified with her that she wanted to receive any
I
correspondence
don't know. Lori should have probably moved for a mistrial. I don't know. She should have done something.
by email, correct?
Lori's
correct,
asleep.
yes,
And in fact, did you advise her that the named
And
beneficiary
that motion would not succeed, by the way, but she needs to wake up a little bit.
would receive information via email then?
correct.
Is it normal when you have someone call in to make a death claim to wait and look up things before you let them know?
Yes, that is our standard procedure.
Okay, so you weren't doing anything weird there. That's just what you guys have to
No.
do. So what does Banner Life do to verify that that person is, that Lori Vallow was the beneficiary?
We review everything on the policy file in the system, as well as any paper document that has come through, such as an ownership change, beneficiary change, anything of that nature during the entire life of the policy since it was issued, to confirm that information, to make sure that we are providing the information to the appropriate party.
Did you in this call know at some point that there was perhaps something incorrect about her being the beneficiary?
Not during the call.
Did you look up afterwards?
Yes.
Okay. When somebody calls in to notify that there's been a death and try to get the policy payout, what would normally be required? Do they just have to call in and then you have to send them a check if their name's on there?
No. We review each policy to determine the claim requirements for that specific claim. They can vary from claim to claim, depending on, the situation with that particular policy. That is why we do prepare a claim packet specific for each claim
All
that
right,
has been
let's
reported.
move forward a little bit. Let's
we
get to
provide a
cross.
Take care. Okay.
Wait, what?
I mean, I really can't give too much information, but I can.
Recognize that as the July 18th of 2019 call.
Okay, so these calls are actually within a few days of I suppose that is how that is the order then. So she tried to get life insurance, realized or was informed she's not the beneficiary, and then she moved on to Social Security. I have life insurance on my own life. So Brooklyn said, why not? Wouldn't you want your daughter to be set up financially? I have life insurance on my life, and my daughter's the beneficiary. I just don't want other random people to take out, because this is how you end up in this mess. I don't want other people to take out policies on my life. I mean, not that an insurance company will call you and say, hey, see uh this person that whatever relative and XYZ, they have a life insurance policy on you. So yeah, I just listen, there are two things I absolutely do not want. I do not want anybody to love me to death, and I definitely don't want anybody to take life insurance out on me. Don't do it. Don't do it. I have my own life insurance policy, and that's that. Don't take out money. No, don't do it.
Yes, I do recognize the phone call.
Thank you. Your Honor,
Okay.
the state will move to admit Exhibit 280.
280.
280.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
280 is admitted.
And if we may publish that.
Okay, come on.
Claims Department, this is Robin. May I have the policy number?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, I do have the policy pulled up. Who am I speaking with?
This is Lori Vallow. I'm returning your call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Let me just get all of this information up.
Some people are good at their jobs.
Okay, so in your voicemail, you stated that you had something that stated you are the beneficiary of the policy.
Right. So I have the original policy where I was the beneficiary,
Mm.
the sole beneficiary, and then we changed the policy to where I was 80% and we added two people, the Porches who invested in our company for each 10%. And
Okay.
that's the last one I have. That's the last update that I have.
So can you tell me when that was changed again? I mean, I know my husband is the agent on record, so he can change it. He's the owner.
Okay, I don't see anything regarding the second change that you said. I don't, and with those
Okay.
percentages, I don't see anything at all with you as 80% at any time.
Okay, so
But
maybe that's something he just told him he was going to do. That's just a handwritten copy I have that I found, so.
Okay, so well, I mean, I really can't give too much information, but I can tell you that the beneficiary was changed in March of this year.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what he was doing since we have 5 kids and we've been married for 15 years.
5
I'm
kids.
sorry.
So I know he owes a lot of people money,
Ooh.
and I was worried if I got money, they'd be coming after me for money.
Right, no, I
Yeah.
understand that.
But now will be with none. So, but did he change it to
Brooklyn
one
said-
person, or was it several people?
Brooklyn said her facial expressions are crazy. I mean, she's just, I don't know that anybody wants to be dragged into court for this. So,
Fortunately, I can't release that. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I know you can't tell. We're in the business. My husband is the agent. He's the agent,
Okay.
so
Got it. Okay.
we deal with
she was married for 15 years. How long had she known Chad Daybell for?
this business.
That's crazy. Why didn't she go back to a maiden name? I don't know.
I
I'll
know.
leave it alone.
Okay.
Kind of know how it works, but I'm
Sure.
completely surprised.
Right. I'm
We have
sure.
a 7-year-old with autism that we adopted together.
Girl, what do you want this agent to do? What exactly did you want her to do? Change the policy?
So I am surprised that he would do that without telling me.
Well, I'm
Listen, I don't even like, I can talk about having a life insurance policy on here because I'm a complete stranger. I don't even tell the people in my real life that I have a life insurance policy. I just no. With the exception of my sister. She knows I have a life insurance policy. And it's $1 million. So that I don't tell people. People be doing weird things.
so sorry.
Maybe I'm just distrustful. That's it.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, even though it's community.
No.
policy.
No.
It's his
No,
policy.
this is a contract that we have with the insured, exactly. So he's able
Lori.
to make any changes,
I bet you she
during
was
the lifetime of
sick
the policy.
when she got this news.
Well, can I check? I mean, I have a policy, a $2 million policy on me.
Okay.
And since he's the agent, would he have been able to change the beneficiary on my policy?
Not if he
You
was the
know that?
agent. He would have had to own the policy, but I can certainly check.
But if he
Let
would have
me-
signed my name, could he have done that? I wonder.
I mean,
Lori.
I don't, I would hope that wouldn't happen, but let me just pull up,
Okay. So I guess she's going to cross-examine about the
Okay,
$2
let me
million
just-
policy.
take a look and see what I can find on you.
It's under Lori Vallow. It would be under Lori and Vallow.
Okay.
Because we have a $2 million policy on me, but I'm not even sure it's with Banner Life. It might
I'm
be
not
Life
showing
of
that
the
it's with
Southwest.
us.
Okay, it
yeah,
might be Life of the Southwest. We work with several companies. but
right.
I could call them and ask. I'm just asking.
Lori,
a
get
question,
off the
like, I
phone.
could call them and ask them and make sure the beneficiary is who I say. I mean.
Yeah, I
it
mean,
was
I
him,
would. I mean, if
so-
you have a concern of that nature, I certainly would call and check on your own policies. If
She has
you,
other people to help Lori.
have concern if
Right.
something may have happened.
Well, and I would have to change it anyway because.
Lori, get off the
beneficiary as far as
phone.
I know on
Yeah.
my policy.
Right. So you would definitely want to update that at this point, and
Because what happens, like if something happened to me, say today, and it's under him and he's deceased, what happens to that policy?
She
well,
would
if there's
not know.
Well, every contract's different, but I mean,
Exactly.
more than likely, if there was not a contingent beneficiary named, it would go to your estate.
To their state.
Yeah. But if there's, if there's a contingent beneficiary name, then it would go to that person.
Lori, please get off the phone.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you. I just.
That's
needed that information.
disappointing.
Okay, no, not a problem. All right, you take care.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
disappointing.
Bye-bye.
So in this call, we hear yourself again with Miss Vallow.
Okay, she's
Un-
gonna repeat the same
So
stuff.
she
Let's
didn't really
move on.
understand it.
Wait, no cross?
And she told you that she understands how life insurance works, right?
Wait, no cross?
Well,
Am I
can I
tripping?
check? I mean, I have a policy of 2 million.
Wait, am I tripping?
Okay, it might be like a, I mean, yeah, right. What happens to that policy? And it would go to,
Wait,
all right, you take care. Okay.
is there no
Bye-bye.
cross?
So in this call, we hear yourself again with Miss Vallow.
Yes,
And we hear her telling you that her husband left her with 5 kids to care for, right?
yes,
And
Ellie,
she told you that she understands
Ellie
how life-
said Lori is her own worst enemy because apparently she's just talking. Wow. Come on,
life insurance works, right?
correct.
Lori.
That she and her husband run this business about it, right?
Yes,
But then she asks you if an agent would be able to change who the beneficiary was.
correct.
So she didn't really understand it.
I felt that she did not understand it fully.
And again, she told you she understood how this all worked, but then she asked you what would happen if she died. At this point, who would
Man,
get,
she's not an
you
insurance
know, her money
agent.
since her husband had been her beneficiary.
Yes, she did.
So you had to advise her of the fact that if there were contingent beneficiaries, they would get it.
Yes,
Ultimately, did Banner Life Insurance have any insurance policy with Lori Vallow?
no, she did not hold any coverage under Banner Life.
Okay.
When she was talking to you, at one point she asked you or said, there's nothing you can do about that, right?
Correct.
And there's nothing you can do to change that. That is something that the owner is able to do.
Right.
Correct. We could not make any changes.
She wanted to make changes. Come on,
regardless of
Lori.
If you feel bad for someone.
Exactly.
Is it awkward for you when you have to talk to someone who thinks that they were the beneficiary and learns they're not?
It can be, yes.
Was that your last interaction with Lori Vallow?
To my recollection, yes.
Who did Banner Life Insurance Company ultimately pay the $1 million policy to?
To Mr. Vallow's sister, Kay Woodcock.
And before the insurance company, before Banner Life would pay that out to Kay Woodcock, did you actually have to call and verify with the police that she was not involved in the homicide or the murder of Charles Vallow?
Yes, that's correct.
I have no other questions for this witness.
Hold on, go back.
Before Banner Life would pay that out to Kay Woodcock, did you policy to?
To Mr. Vallow's sister, Kay Woodcock.
And before the insurance company, before Banner Life would pay that out to Kay Woodcock, did you actually have to call and verify with the police that she was not involved in the homicide or the murder of
Okay.
Charles Vallow?
Yes, that's correct.
Checks out.
I have no other questions for this witness.
That's the one thing at least the Lori could have Googled, or I don't know, somebody should have looked it up. And actually, it's actually, I suppose I just have this knowledge because I'm an attorney. But, but if I'm thinking about cases, there was a case, I don't remember the borough. I don't remember the borough. But what I remember about the decedent in that case, I believe he was some type of electrician. And his wife hired some folks to take him out. She did not even have a job. Get a job. So the wife hired some folks to take him out. It was one of the islands. Originally, somebody was from one of the islands. I just don't remember which island in the Caribbean, but eventually, a few months down the line, it came to light that she had hired folks to take him out. And I'm like, dude, a quick Google search will pretty much clarify things for you, that if you are involved in an individual's passing, you cannot benefit from their life insurance policy. But I don't know.
Cross?
For right now, though, Lori Vallow enjoys the presumption of innocence, so we don't know.
No questions, Your Honor.
Lori, let me. Oh, okay. Could Lori have cross-examined? Were there any avenues to cross-examine this witness? I guess maybe the notion that she kind of knows nothing about life. She knows nothing about life insurance policies, but she probably should have challenged that just a little bit. I know it's all recorded, so.
Excuse me?
Oh yeah, I know what on
No
earth you're
questions.
thinking.
All right, are there any questions for this witness from any member of the jury? I don't
Oh,
see-
and with the first witness as well, the jury asked some really, really good questions. So yeah, one of the questions I actually was thinking, I don't remember. I think it was one. Hold on, I don't remember, but I thought they asked brilliant
Jenny,
questions.
you can step down. Thank you.
Okay, Benji felt like Lori isn't the. She's all right. She's okay. We all have our faults, I suppose. All right. Okay, the rest of these people, even when I listened to what we watch now, I did not watch, so I don't know who's taking the
tests and
stand.
proficiency
Who's
sites.
this?
Should
Who is you?
How long have you worked there?
What does he do?
Thank you. Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Moberg. I'm a forensic scientist with the Arizona Department of Public Safety in the Firearms and Toolmark Unit.
Wait, am I tripping, or did Lori cross-examine? Did Lori cross-examine a medical witness today, or am I tripping? I think it was I don't know. I'm probably tripping. Never mind.
How long have you worked there?
Okay,
I've
so
been with
firearms.
DPS since February of 2013.
Let's get to cross.
I've been assigned to the firearms.
Let's get to cross. We don't have a
manufacturing
lot of
process
time.
Given. Is there a way?
Fired into.
Oh,
So it's,
there she is.
and then they're electronically.
Exhibit 239, the projectile that was recovered to the projectiles that you created when you test fired, were you able to reach any conclusions with regards to this weapon?
I was, like the cartridge cases, I identified the projectile as having been fired from that particular firearm.
So the bullet that you were given, you've identified as having been fired from this Springfield semi-automatic 45 caliber handgun.
That's correct.
Did that end your work in this case?
That ended my analysis from this case. From then, I go ahead and I take all of my notes. The entire process I'm photo documenting. So when I open this up and I was documenting the condition as it's receiving, I'm also taking photos. When I'm doing the comparison, I'm also taking photos of the evidence side by side and any kind of areas of interest that I'm looking at. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and document my opinion and my results on our worksheets. I'm also going to print out all of my photos. I am then going to take all of that evidence, I'm going to hand it to another trained examiner. That other trained examiner, without looking at my results, is going to take all of that evidence and do a comparison himself. And then he'll form his own opinion and then verify that it matches or is similar to my results.
And was that done here?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I'm waiting for Lori.
Did that alter in any way your opinion?
Not at all. He was in agreement of my results.
Okay.
When you talk about the photos, so in your report,
It's taking forever.
so anyone else could later look at them and
It's just to look at them and understand what exactly I.
these things, and that, thank you. I have no other questions.
All right.
Cross-examination.
I just have a couple questions, Your Honor.
Okay. I mean, she tries to be likable though, so I'll give it to her. She let's do that again. She sounds all formal.
I just have a couple questions, Your Honor.
And that judge is not paying her any mind. All right, come on, Lori. Lori, why didn't you tuck your shirt in or your blouse or whatever that is?
Mr. Boberg, when did you receive the
Or
request
maybe
to
they don't allow it because she's incarcerated. I don't know.
test this firearm?
It was early March of this year.
So March 2025?
2025. Okay. She. What, a month ago?
And then how long after you received the request did you test the firearm?
I was notified that the request was coming in a couple of days. I received the evidence on a Wednesday, which my week wraps up on Thursday, and I did all of the work on that the following Monday, and the report was put out by Tuesday morning.
Okay, do you know
Okay.
what the date that Tuesday report was put out by?
I don't know the exact date. If you'd like, I can refer to my notes and give you that exact date.
Sure, that'd be great.
Is that okay? Go
Is
ahead.
that okay?
So the report was authored on March 4th of 2025. The evidence was received in our property and evidence unit on 2/26 of 25, in which I also received them on that 2/26 of 25 and returned them to our evidence room on the 4th of March.
Okay, thank you.
Lori, what
And
are you getting
Who
at?
requested you to do this test on this firearm? Where did your request come from?
This particular request was made from a detective who reached out to me via email explaining could I assist him with a rush. I passed it through my supervisor who allowed me to contact the detective and have the evidence submitted. And then it was assigned to me because the request was sent directly to me.
Do you know what detective that was?
Detective Duncan.
And then who did you send your report to?
I'm sorry. I just watched something here. I saw. Never mind. I'll leave it alone.
So once I'm finished with my analysis, my report is then reviewed by another examiner and then a
distracted. I'm
supervisor to
sorry.
make sure that it's all technically correct, and then admin, and
Okay.
then they're electronically released to.
So Benji's saying that sis did not, do her due diligence because she thought she could get away with everything. Her and her husband are very interesting. They're a very interesting couple for sure. I'll reserve my comments. Yeah.
Detective Duncan.
I don't want. I'm a standby counsel, so I'm not, going to say anything about Lori Vallow Daybell.
Okay.
There are
And then you said you had
questions.
done some photo documenting. Were those photos attached to this report?
They were attached to all of my case notes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a report, case notes, and then the photo documentaries?
It's all part of, the notes and the photo documentation is all one.
And how long do you think that report was total?
Oh, it's roughly 13 pages total. 13, 14 pages with the actual report.
Okay.
What does that have to do with anything, Lori?
So you fired the firearm 3 times, is that correct?
That's correct.
In your testing?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And then if you were, did you point it all in the same direction when you fired?
When I did my test firing, I was firing into a water tank. The water tank has it's approximately 10-inch thick stainless steel tube with a rest inside of it that I fire it into. So it stays in one place and fires at a specific angle into the water so that I'm not striking anything or being unsafe in any way.
And what's your distance at that point?
Lori, what
Approximately
are
a
you
foot.
getting at?
Oh, just a foot away into
Yeah,
the water tank?
Into the water. Yeah.
Okay. And then did all of the casings go into the exact same place, like close to the same place?
So around the inlet tube that we shoot into, we have a big net that catches the cartridge cases.
So you can't really tell where they land then, I guess, because the net catches them? Is that what you're saying?
It's land as far as they kind of shoot out of the gun and then get caught by the net.
Okay, so they don't land on the ground and roll to the
No.
close to
Lori.
each other? Okay. But you kind of got a feel for this gun because you shot it, right?
I did.
Okay.
So if you were to shoot the gun straight and then move 40 degrees to the right and shoot it again, do you think that the casings would end up in the same area?
Objection as to speculation without foundation of,
He shot the gun, Your Honor. I was
Well,
asking his
hold on.
opinion.
Hold on, Lori.
He can answer if, first of all, if he understands the question.
I'm sorry, this judge is something else. So apparently Lori's asking confusing questions.
If I may clarify.
Sure.
So you're asking if I point a weapon, say this way, and then turn this way.
Correct.
Okay. I can't answer that.
Go ahead.
I would expect the cartridge case to be slightly different from the very first one, but not much, depending on what interacts with it in its flight path. Did
Okay.
it bounce off of something? What's the floor type? What is, or whatever it hits first? I couldn't say without knowing any of that.
Okay. So would it be safe to say that the casings would end up in the same place if you didn't move and you fired 2 shots? They should end up close to the same location.
Again, it really depends on what is around, because typically when a semi-automatic firearm is fired, the slide comes back and the cartridge case ejects up and to the right. So
Oh yeah, Benji, did you guys experience that earthquake in Antelope or no? I saw somewhere in California there's an earthquake or something.
if you
I mean, I
move
think they're earthquake. I think they're earthquakes all the time though. So
slightly, you're changing that angle slightly. So it could be slightly different. It could be in the same location, depending on how they bounce and roll.
okay.
Okay. So if you fired the gun and and the casing ricocheted off the wall, but then you moved the gun and fired it again somewhere else,
Lori,
it
you
could
need
miss
to ask
the
better
ricocheting
questions.
of the wall altogether, right?
Again, without knowing the scene, I couldn't say.
Okay.
I mean, she's trying though, so
So in your report, I don't want to simplify it because I know that you are a
don't
scientist,
complicate it either.
but is it basically saying that
Oh
this gun,
wow!
that those casings came from
I'm
this
glad you
particular
guys
gun?
are safe.
My exact wording would be very similar to that. It would say items.
Was that your only concern, Benji? A TV, really?
Whatever the unique
I'm glad you're safe,
identifier is, were identified as having been fired from item, which is the gun.
Okay. This particular gun, correct?
Correct.
Yes. And then you would say that those projectiles also came from this particular gun. Is that correct? Okay. And then,
Bruin.
and this testing was done this year on March 4th, is that correct?
March
Right.
4th is my report date, meaning all of the analysis is completed and it is done. At that point, my analysis was actually conducted on the 3rd.
Okay. Okay, no more questions, thank you.
Lori,
Redirect.
Lori did not do anything else. She did not do a damn thing. Lori did not do anything up there.
which side did the casings eject from on this Springfield?
On this particular Springfield, the ejection port is angled to the right and up.
Okay. So in order well, let me ask you this.
I'm gonna skip.
Worked
Who's she?
assaults.
And the butt was down, but
Okay. Next witness. What time is it? Okay, 9:55.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name's Cassandra Anglon. I'm a detective with the Chandler Police Department in our robbery homicide unit.
Sheesh.
Can you
Let's go to cross.
Investigation or,
dance?
correct. Asked for something to the,
In the days that followed,
I'm still trying to figure out if Lori should
Sidebar this
have
morning with the white.
cross-examined the insurance agent or not. I'm still focused on that because I don't
In
know,
your
Lori.
interview, did Lori
Ooh,
I'm sorry, the Rule 106.
Oh.
192?
let's see what
And
Lori
mentioned how
has
she
for
got
us.
Charles's phone?
Correct.
State will move to admit 192, how she got Charles's phone.
Correct.
Okay.
State will move to admit 192.
Same objection.
The defense will object to 106.
Okay.
192. 192.
Lori, get your
I'm
exhibits
sorry, the
together.
Rule 106
Oh.
is the objection, I'm sorry.
Got you. All right,
192.
192 is admitted.
No, okay. Lori's out there using rules and everything.
And if I may publish.
Go ahead.
You know, he's just been difficult, so.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I got Jada separated, and he was like, well, and he's like this about timing. He's like, I'm leaving in 20 minutes because it's like 15 minutes to school and like you can't get there early.
Lori, this story better make sense. It better be in line with your opening statement, okay? Because I mean, for the insurance agent, you said that it was an accident. Opening, you said it was self-defense. I don't know what you're gonna say in here, but okay. Lori, not Lori. Ellie says, "Am I the only one missing the purpose or relevance of Lori's questioning?" No, she's not an attorney. She doesn't know what she's doing. So you're not. Let me see. So far, Lori had decent cross examination on the first day, as well as the cross examination of what's her name? Let me think back. It starts with the letter S. I think it's Serena Sharp. Serena Sharp's cross examination that was on point. Okay, that was on point. The brother, she definitely should have cross examined her brother better. Um, let me. She's shaky. She should have gone with an attorney, but or like a real attorney. Okay, Brooklyn says, Allie, I don't think anybody knows. She's either trying to bring down she's try- she's either trying to bring down cults or religion. So I should not be laughing at that. Uh, uh, Lori's case is complicated. I think, and I'm gonna dig deeper into this. That's like a Sunday thing, though. I have a lot of work that I'm going to have to get into. But here's my sense with Lori. I really don't think she's she's all there. I don't think Lori's all there. I would like to believe that her attorneys were probably going for the insanity defense, and she's against that because she thinks that she's mentally sound. I think that's where the breakdown in attorney client relations are, but I could be completely wrong. But from my perspective, this would have made a decent defense case. But in order for it to be a decent defense case, you have to go with the I don't even want to call her that. But anyways, you have to kind of argue that she's not mentally sound. Okay. Lori is just, I don't know. There are a lot of things about this case that make me question her sanity. Um, anyways, she definitely does not know how to cross examine. I've seen flashes of decent cross examination here and there. But other than that, she does not know what she's doing. She does not know what she's doing. And here's an example. If we let's go back to Serena, what was the last name? Serena Sharp, I believe. Um, Serena Sharp. Lori could not even identify, she could not understand the why or the purpose of Serena's testimony. Serena was really there to testify that Lori was of the belief that her husband was possessed by some um, what do they call it? Demon? Or I don't even think they call it a demon. Ned, whatever Ned is, okay? That the husband was possessed and that they had a casting, I believe that's what it's called. They had a casting where I question Serena though, because she participated. All these people were participating in this casting try, I guess, to cast Ned out of the husband's body, whatever it is they were doing, right? She did not understand how crucial Serena's testimony was as far as furthering the prosecution's burden. She basically just thought that, oh, she did not recognize the importance of Serena's testimony. And apart from that, as she is cross examining, she's having a hard time figuring out how to properly cross examine and how to properly test the prosecution's evidence. So she's asking questions for the sake of asking questions. Um, and today, if we have to go back, I believe that was the first witness, the individual that works for the Social Security Administration. And I've pointed it out before where Lori's questions are not always very clear. She'll ask a question along the lines of, okay, when you did that, what what did you do next? Something along those lines. And a witness needs clarity. When you're saying that, what are you referring to? So a question has to be more pointed. It has to be something along the lines of, when you open the fridge, what if anything did you do next? And that's even not even proper, because that's more of a direct examination question. So for cross, it has to be a yes no response. So it's something along the lines of, when you open the fridge, did you, I don't know, did you punch Jack or whatever? It has to be a question where the question has to be framed in such a way where the witness says yes or no. But you know, she's struggling with her questions. Anyways, let's let's see what they have here.
Don't open the gates until at 8:20 or something like that.
Okay.
And I said, well, why don't you just go now? I don't want him in the house. I'm like, why don't you just go now and
The teddy bear makes me wonder if they interviewed the kids sometime during this, during this interview. If it was before, after, maybe during.
Burger King, because that's what he likes for breakfast. He's very particular about food. Like, he wanted chicken fries.
Oh my,
Take him to Burger King.
breakfast. Lori.
Just go now. I don't want him in the house. I'm like, why don't you just go now and take him to Burger King, because that's what he likes for breakfast. He's very particular about food. Like, he wanted chicken fries for breakfast and the Sprite. Like, and I just can't.
Why is it stuck? Why is it frozen?
If you don't know what he wants, and it's like on the floor screaming, dragging him, and just going like, and he's big and he's heavy.
Lori.
Yeah. Hard for me.
Isn't this, because this is July 11, 2019. Isn't this the same day that her husband died?
But anyway, so I said, just go.
I mean, not everybody mourns the same, but I don't know, Lori.
And so he said, okay. So I gave him a backpack. He got in the car. This is his MO, right? He always leaves something in the house and comes back. He never leaves the first time. I always expect my husband to come back into the house, right? So I guess he had left his phone on the counter.
So he initially left with the backpack and with JJ?
And so he put them in the car,
Okay.
in the driveway, and then he came back in.
Okay.
Right, so I kissed JJ goodbye. He came back in, and his phone was on the counter, and I had his phone.
Lori should not have agreed to this. And I mean, I suppose this interview worked for a little bit because if I remember correctly, when law enforcement interviewed, they figured, there was nothing here. So I suppose the interview worked. But my lawyer mind is telling me, don't be talking to these people without an attorney. So, lawyer, that would kind of be suspicious, but everything's suspicious. It does not matter what you do, everything is suspicious.
And he was like, give me my phone. And I was like, why don't you show me your text that you've been texting, blah, blah, blah.
What's up, old bag?
Because he's like acting really weird, like he's plotting something against me. Like, I'm like, why are you even here? Like, what did you come here for? You know, he's been talking to my other brother, and my brother came into town.
Old bag, which detective do you want me to go back to? Let me know and I'll watch it when I get to work, or we can do that. We can do it tomorrow. So let's see. Okay, Ali misses old bag or missed old bag. They missed each other. Okay, old bag's just saying hi. Okay, Benji says, "So, is there any particular reason why they did her kids' criminal trial first?" Not that I'm aware of. Sometimes it really just depends on who's ready to go. And those are two different jurisdictions, so it really would not have mattered. Would not have mattered. Um, let's see. Brooklyn, why are you feeling sorry for the teddy bear?
At the same time last night, and I haven't talked to my brother in a while. My other
And
brother.
let me expand a little bit on that, Benji. So there are, I'm just gonna say 51 criminal jurisdictions. It really can be more than that, depending on how you want to divide the federal government. But typically, the way that it goes, as far as states do whatever it is they want to do when it comes to trials. Okay, even if it's for the same conduct. Uh, but had there been a federal aspect to this, let's say I don't know, they carried guns along state lines or something, and if the federal government had decided to pick this up, then typically usually the federal government goes first, but that's not always the case. It just depends on the jurisdiction. Because I think, I'm just trying to think, um, Philadelphia. I believe in Philadelphia there was, or Pennsylvania as a whole, I believe it was, there used to be an agreement, and this is, what year is this, 2025? So this would be going back to around 2018, I believe, or 2019. Around that time, there used to be an agreement whereby the federal government would have the first bite. And there are times where in jurisdictions, if an individual can be charged by or is charged by both the feds and the state, sometimes there were agreements where if they are convicted at the federal level, then the state would not do anything with, the state charges. Basically, dismiss. Sometimes they reduce it to, not you, I mean, a criminal defendant. Sometimes they would reduce it to some minimal criminal, what is this, criminal, a misdemeanor. That's what I'm trying to get at. So it just really depends, and under these circumstances it probably, I figured Idaho might have been more ready. They were ready to proceed with a case as opposed to these folks, because if we go back to one of the witnesses, the firearms expert, or the individual, I don't even know if they're declared an expert or not, but the individual that testified about the firearm, they were still testing firearms in March of 2025. So I think they just weren't prepared. They were not ready. Okay. Oh, this specific detective. So okay, got it all back. Got it. So I suppose this would be one of those that we rewatch. I was gonna say let's do it on Sunday, but I'm busy this Sunday. Um, Let me think about. I could potentially come up here on Friday, but I want to do my laundry in peace. I want to do my laundry in peace. So let me think about it. Let me think about it. Or I could just watch it at work. If I do have time, I can watch it at work, and then I'll just sum it up.
And I was like, and so he was texting him on the phone when he first got to my house, and I'm like, why are you texting Adam? Like, do you even talk to him? Like my other brother.
Okay.
So in this portion, Lori Vallow told you that she kissed JJ goodbye and Charles took JJ in the backpack out to the car.
Correct.
Oh, I thought we were gonna
And
watch a
that-
whole. Yeah,
She went,
for this one, I'm sorry. This actually, we're going to have to or at least I am going to have to watch from the very beginning. Okay, I'm going to have to, because there are too many. It's disjointed when I'm just jumping around. But let's quickly try and get to cross because I need to. I need to go to. I feel so good, you guys. I feel so good. I know I did go to bed a bit later than planned last night, but I woke up early this morning. I got my baby on the bus and I started cooking, you guys. I started cooking my dinner around I started around 6 because I don't go. Sometimes I do go into work around 6:50 or whatever, but I've not been doing it lately. I've just been chilling. Anyways, I started cooking. I was feeling like an adult. I was feeling like an adult. Okay, so let's see. Olbag said they did this case first because Idaho had them in custody. Arizona came in later and said, we think she conspired to kill her husband, so bring her back to prosecutor. There we go. Olbag has the answer. I did not watch the stuff with the little kids. Gross. Olbag says, Brooklyn. No, you guys are talking to each other, I think. Okay, so the trial in Karen Reed doesn't start until next Tuesday. Good, because that gives me sufficient time to catch up with Lori. Okay, so today Benji had a fantastic day. Brooklyn, lots of new motions were filed today. Really? Oh wow. Wow. I'm gonna have to look into it. We might actually have to come up here on Sunday and see what's going on with Karen Reed. Can we do Sunday? If I'm to do Sunday, I'm gonna have to do it really early. I'm not a really early, or we might have to do something on Sunday. Yeah, because we need to catch up. We need to catch up. Let's think about it. I think we come up here on Sunday. I need to go back to my other channel. I want a real lawyer. I'm gonna go back to that channel and see if they have approved me for what is this? The live streaming. I had to wait 24 hours for some reason. If that's the case, then we can talk Karen Reed on Sunday. Okay. So Oldbag says I gave Benji the lawyer for Dubby's version. Yeah, I did not follow. I did not follow the first trial. Oh, but I don't know. Let me leave. I was gonna start. I have questions about Chad Daybell, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Let's try and get to cross
got it,
this.
right?
Correct.
And she,
I
The
need
number,
to.
and then
Oh, there we go. I need to go to.
5 submitted.
I need to iron
did you
and then go to
later
bed.
then submit a request to have an examination or extraction done of Charles's cell phone?
correct.
And then you said you use the sticky on the front to let them know how to get into it.
Correct. We'll put it, if we know it, we'll put it in the request. But oftentimes we'll put it directly with the phone also.
Okay.
I have no other questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right.
All right.
Bueno. Bueno, bueno, bueno. What on earth? I hope you guys filed your taxes. Do what you need to do. Give the federal government their money. Okay, come on. Whatever.
Detective Inkland, who was the case agent on July 11th, 2018?
That would have been.
I still think, I'm just thinking here. And going back to old bags. What's going on? Going back to old bags message or chat where she says that this case uh or the Idaho case went first, and then once that was done, Arizona said that they think she conspired to, off the husband. uh, Part of that, just that, that chat or the text by itself, it reinforces my belief that this would have made a decent um, defense case with an actual attorney. There are a few facts here and there that make this a decent criminal defense attorney, almost along the lines of, the Colin Griffith, the Colin Griffith case. Okay, and then Lori says that, oh, not Lori. Obag says that Lori doesn't like this lady. I wonder why.
Detective Moffat, who's now Lieutenant Moffat.
Okay. And then when did Detective Duncan,
Look at the
when did the
judges
switch happen
chilling.
from Detective Moffat to Detective Duncan being the case agent? Do you know?
When Detective Moffat was
Lori, are you? I'm gonna leave her alone.
promoted to Sergeant Moffat.
I'm gonna leave
Once
her
you're
alone.
promoted, you go back to patrol as a supervisor. So when you leave the unit, we reassign case officer responsibility to a detective that's currently inside the unit. So if somebody retires or promotes, that case agent responsibility would shift over to someone else.
Okay. Do you know when that was about?
I don't.
Was it like sometime in that year, 2019, or much later?
I don't know.
Oh, and I watched TK today. For anybody that has, I was gonna type something in these notes. Hold on, I got distracted. What was I gonna type? I forgot. Hold on, I need to remember what I was gonna type. What was I gonna type? I forgot.
You had talked about when
Oh.
you got the call to come and respond to the house on July 11th. About what time was that?
Oh yeah, so I watched part of TK's trial today. A jury reached a verdict. So they're not putting him to death, but they did find that he, committed murder. And that, I mean, to me, it's a relief. I do not agree with, I was going to say with little kids, but I'm against the death penalty. So that was a relief on my part, too.
It was probably
I tried to
about
watch part of the sentencing, but that was during the Lori Vallow. I think I watched a little bit of it during their lunch break, and I had to switch back to Lori.
10 or 15 minutes after the initial radio traffic. I just remember I
Oh,
was on the 202
really?
going westbound and my phone rang.
I did not know that, Brooklyn. What makes him popular?
And when you showed up, you had stated that Alex was seated on the curb. Is that correct?
He was the first time I noticed him, yes.
And you also stated that an adult female.
Yeah, I agree, Obag. I agree. This would have made a really good. I hate to say that because somebody died, but this would have made a decent criminal defense case. I don't know why Lori. I just do not know why Lori decided to represent herself. But I mean, it's her case, her life, her liberty. So I suppose it makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, but I do like that point. For people that are just listening and not, watching the screen, Old Bag basically says Arizona didn't charge her, they let her go. So yes, using the botch investigation, so it would make for a good defense. But it's apart from, besides that, I think the biggest thing here is the fact that it's the brother that pulled the trigger. And the other thing is that there are really no other witnesses, with the exception of Lori. So you don't really have anybody to counter what Lori's saying, with the exception of her many inconsistencies. So her inconsistencies might be, I guess that's a witness. But yeah, this would have been a decent criminal defense case. Uh, let's see, McSteamy. I don't know. Okay, so Ali says, "So, what was his sentence, or or is that going to be an? Oh, are you talking about TK? I started thinking about Chad Chad Daybell for some reason. I have no idea why I was thinking about Chad. But for TK, I did not watch the very end of that. The only thing that I watched when they read the verdict, and then I watched the defense opening statement. I watched the first witness that took the. They had some motions. The defense was objecting to the prosecution's witness taking the stand because they were of the opinion that, I guess they were saying that the prosecutor led was not so much that the prosecutor led the witness, but that the prosecutor had disclosed some information to the witness about the about TK. So I don't actually know what his sentence is. I'm just glad that he's not sentenced to death. So yeah. And I thought the defense opening statement was, it was definitely in line with what I'd expect from a death penalty defense attorney. He was pretty much making a plea to the jurors that, at the time he laid he laid a roadmap. Okay, he told the jurors that they would hear about the fact that TK is incarcerated for not just incarcerated. I believe he was convicted, right? That he had committed some other act, blah, blah, blah. But the defense attorney's main focus is on the age, how young he was at the time that everything was going on. He comes from, he did not have a really good childhood. Apparently, his father was very abusive. Him and his sister were in and out of foster care, and he really had no direction. And apparently, the night before the murder, he took LSD, and he talked about how intentional intoxication is not a defense. I thought he was doing very well. I just did not have time to listen to everything. Okay, so Brooklyn says, I think they storage unit videos. Who are you referring to, Brooklyn? Are you talking about Lori or TK? Ellie says, I thought they were seeking the DP in that case. DP was never, or they weren't seeking. I see what you're saying. So Ellie says, I thought they weren't seeking the death penalty in that case. Death penalty was never on the table. For him, was my understanding. When they read, we can go, what time is it? Okay, we can switch over to TK in a little bit, but that judge, I think it's Judge Boyd or whatever. Uh, I think that's her name. I've seen her clips everyone here and there. But when she read that verdict, it says, as far as death penalty, not guilty. And then some woman started exclaiming and she was excited and she got kicked out. So, yeah.
Female entirely, you were already across the street when you arrived?
No,
Wait,
Oh,
what?
we weren't. An adult female entirely, you were already across the street when you arrived?
no,
Oh, we weren't there yet.
no.
Okay, that's why you're referring to yourself in the third in the third person. I was like an adult female. What?
Okay. How long after you arrived did we arrive?
I don't know when you arrived. I just became aware of you at some point. I did not see you arrive.
Okay.
You were not there when I got there, but at
So
some
what?
point you got there and I became aware of you outside.
Okay. But you weren't in the house, correct?
No,
In the morning? So where were you that you didn't see us coming up? At that,
Honestly, Lori, I'm gonna
in
leave her
between that
alone.
time?
I was in front of the house.
I'm gonna leave her alone. Let's quickly
And
go
was
to
your
TK.
view obscured by
This I'm
something?
going to have to watch.
I don't believe so.
We're gonna have to come back
you
to
didn't see
this witness. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out when do we do this? When do we do this? Do I come up here on Friday? Brooklyn, I'm sorry. We might have to come up here on Friday. We might have to come up here on Friday. You're going to have to be part of the replay crew just because I'm thinking if we have motions in Karen Reed, that's definitely a Sunday thing because we need Brooklyn there. Provided he's not busy, otherwise he's part of the replay crew. But there's a lot going on, and I need to catch up. So, or do I listen to this on my own and recap? I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, take a. Do I want to click on this, or do I just want to find this? This used to be my jam, though. The race. This was my jam back in the day. Do I want to click on this, or do I want to find the actual? Do I want to find the actual stream? Let's see.
All right, we are on the record in
Okay.
2019 CR 12495 State versus Tamar McIntyre. Can I have parties announced for the record, please?
Jason, go ahead and make a yell with your statement. John Hunter, Thomas Lane.
I believe she's the one that was kicked out. Might be his mom or something.
McIntyre, you're on.
All right, it's the court's understanding from the deputy that a verdict has been reached in this case. This is what I'm going to tell all the parties who are present in this courtroom. There's not to be any outbursts. If there's an outburst, what's going to end up happening is a deputy is going to tap you on the shoulder. There's no need to get into a conversation with the deputy. That tap on the shoulder is meaning that you are to leave this courtroom, and you will only be allowed back in this courtroom if you're going to be a witness. Does everyone understand?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone who cannot do that? So both parties, for the state and the defense, if you need to talk to members who are currently in court that are either with the state or defense, you may do so now. Otherwise, I'm going to bring the jury in.
Forever hold your peace.
Everyone knows to be on their best behavior, Your Honor.
All right, let's bring the jurors
What
in.
you thought?
All right, for the jury.
I think I've mentioned this before. I once considered moving to Texas so I could do, so I could defend against death penalty cases. I did consider doing that.
All right, everyone, please be seated.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's my understanding that you've reached a verdict in this case. Is that correct?
Yep.
And is that verdict unanimous?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
All right, if you will give the verdict form to Deputy Laura, please. Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge.
All right, if the defendant could please stand.
All right.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre.
You see, the defense attorney pretty much, rubs his back a little bit. That's why I keep saying that Takapina, I almost said YNW Melly. Takapina ASAP Rocky relationship was off to me. And they were just a little odd. Maybe, I mean, that's people with money, though. I hardly know about representing people with no money. So, yeah, it's a little different.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder. What did I, excuse me.
Oh, it's, no, hold on.
Stand. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar.
Hold on, because I was watching, I really should have just been listening, but I was watching this on my little phone.
McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder. What did I, excuse me, no.
People. Hold on.
The offense of capital murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder. What did I?
Okay, who's the individual in the suit back there?
Excuse me, no. No, out of the courtroom. Out of the courtroom now.
Crazy. I think I think that's understandable though, given I don't know. Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you don't ignore that. Sometimes, as you can tell, people are invested, correct? So it says, we, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, guilty of the lesser included offense of murder. Does anyone wish?
Yeah, there we go. So Ali, hopefully you got confirmation right there. But the death penalty was definitely on the table. Brooklyn says that in the Karen Reed case, the state gave a request for all the interviews to be submitted. That makes sense. That makes absolute sense. I said that way before jury selection started. Okay, so anyways, let's go on there. Sorry, let me finish reading. Okay, to be submitted into court, and Karen's side wants to bring in the Canton PD investigations. All right. And then interviews, as in TV interviews, she gave. That makes sense. That's a statement of an opposing party. And that's why I questioned why Karen Reed's attorney, I questioned why Karen Reed's team allowed her to be interviewed. It made no sense to me. It's one thing to, again, I think their strategy was to reach out or to reach as many people in the community and potentially, pollute the jury pool. That's my sense. But that is not a good strategy, according to me, especially if these interviews are going to, or they stand a potential of being introduced into evidence. Here's the thing. I am a huge proponent of, you know, shutting your, like, just shut your mouth. Like that is me. Don't say anything. It's the prosecution's burden to prove. I do not I've never believed in people getting, or not people, criminal defendants getting on the stand and assisting the prosecution in incriminating themselves. So to me, when Karen Reed was making or giving all these interviews, in essence, she was testifying against herself, and it made no sense to me. But anyways, let me move on. Okay, Ali says, I don't think they were seeking death penalty, even if convicted of capital um, murder. Um, Here's the thing, though. When it comes to death penalty cases, I mean, ultimately, it's really for, or at least an individual cannot be sentenced to death without the jury say so. But capital murder itself basically says that the charge carries the potential for the death penalty. So that's the charge. Uh, okay, so Brooklyn says very emotional part. I guess Brooklyn was watching. Okay, so Fever. So Fever said, I found out this is her fourth husband. Yeah, she was. Fever, what I do not I don't know. What's puzzling to me is the fact that Lori remarried within a few months of her husband died. I don't know. I cannot. This is beyond me. Okay, this is beyond me. I can. Okay, Fever said, and her brother killed her husband. In the video I seen, she was making jokes. Which video did you see, Fever? And what's up? What's up, Fever? Did you have a good day? Let's see, man. My emails are just, oof. My emails are out of this world. They're just crazy. To see if I don't get a break. Okay, so Fever, you showed up on the tail end of this. We're calling it a night. I started late though, because I had to watch the first part of the WNBA draft. It was really exciting. I'm glad that you guys know that I support LSU. I'm glad that Anissa Morrow is going to Connecticut because she is going to get a chance to actually play. So that's I'd have liked for her to go to Chicago though, but I think Connecticut is good. I don't know if any other place would have. I'm just glad she was a first round pick. That's it. She's a first round pick. It's a WNBA, so her chances of being waived are minimal. And Connecticut Suns, their team, I don't know, they dismantled the team. Everybody just left. So she does stand a really good chance of making the roster. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. Okay, Fever says it's a video of her after he was killed and the brother was sitting on the floor. Send me a link, or Brooklyn, if you know the video that Fever's talking about, send me the link on I want a real lawyer at gmail.com. Okay, I want a real lawyer at gmail.com. All right, enough rambling. You guys know I can do a whole lot of talking. Okay, I'm glad that you're doing good, Fever. So I'm gonna call it a night. Let's call it a night. Reconvene tomorrow, regular time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're gonna get into more Lori Vallow Daybell. What I'm trying to figure out is, do we come here? Are we gonna be live on Friday? Or are we going to be live on Sunday? We're going to be live regardless. I think we're going to be live on Sunday regardless because we need to go over the Karen Reed. We need to go over the Karen Reed motions. Um, as far I do want to watch. I do want us to watch this last witness though. The detective. So I'm trying to figure out. Do we get back up here on Friday? I think it makes sense to come up here on Friday. I think it makes sense. So I'm committing right now. We will be live on Friday. And then I suppose on Friday, we're just going to be rewatching, witnesses that we did not get a chance to watch during the week. So far we have the detective in the blue blazer. I don't know, something might, this is the Lori Vallow Daybell trial. So anything, we might get surprise witnesses along the line. So, okay. All right, Benji, Fever, Alley, Brooklyn, Obag, the replay crew. If anybody sees Jerome in these streets, tell Jerome to pay me a visit. Okay. All right, folks, you guys have a fantastic Tuesday. We will reconvene tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.